their tone tightened. That's not support. That's tolerance. And you don't need to be tolerated. You deserve to be celebrated. Look at your life like a garden. Every plant doesn't need to be near every other plant. Some need shade, some need full sun. And some weeds, they grow with the flowers, looking just like them, until one day you realize they've been choking your roots the whole time. That's how fake support works. It looks like friendship. The grass looks like friendship. It sounds like encouragement. But in reality, it's feeding off your light, draining your strength, and smiling while doing it. Have you ever had a dream, shared it with someone, and they responded with, "Oh, that's nice," but never brought it up again? Never asked how it was going? Never offered to help? Never celebrated the milestones? That's because they weren't clapping. They were calculating, measuring how far ahead of them you might go. That's not your supporter. That's your silent competitor. You don't need to hate them. You don't need to expose them. Just recognize it. Adjust your circle. Guard your garden. Some people are only with you as long as you stay small. The moment you outgrow their version of you, they get uncomfortable. The moment you start doing what they were afraid to do, they start questioning your motives. Then you 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 start questioning your motive. You've changed, they'll say. Yes, you were supposed to. Growth is change. Maturity is change. Destiny requires change. And not everyone is built to evolve with you. Some people are only meant for the chapter they entered in. Trying to drag them into the next one only delays your progress. Even Jesus had a Judas. Even in the most divine environments, betrayal can wear a kiss. So don't let smiles fool you. Discern who's genuinely for you. Discern who lifts you in private, not just in public. Discern who's clapping with a clean heart and who's clapping just to be close enough to count your blessings. Everyone smiling isn't supporting. Some just want to keep tabs. Some want to stay close enough to witness your rise so they can celebrate your fall. Be wise. Protect your peace. Study the energy behind the eyes, not just the curve of the mouth. Because some smiles hide swords and some hugs hold daggers. Your destiny is too sacred to be surrounded by fake applause. God protects what you keep sacred. When you treat something as holy, divine energy surrounds it like a shield. But when you expose it to everyone, when you put what's precious on public display too soon, you weaken its covering. Not because God has left it, but because you've opened it to hands that were never supposed to touch it, eyes that were never meant to see it, mouths that were never worthy to speak on it. What you keep sacred, God keeps safe. And what you treat casually, the world handles carelessly. There are blessings that die in the womb because we share them too soon. You get a vision, a dream, a breakthrough. God whispers something into your spirit. And before it's even formed, you announce it to the world. You throw it into group chats. You post it online. You ask for advice from people who haven't even managed their own dreams. And suddenly, the energy shifts. Doubt creeps in. Opinions multiply. The voice of God gets drowned out by the noise of people. That sacred whisper was never meant for public consumption. It was meant for your inner altar, not your outer platform. Think about the most powerful moments in life: birth, healing, prayer. All of these happen in private. When a child is born, it doesn't happen in a stadium. It happens in a quiet room, a protected space, because sacred things demand silence and covering. So why are you giving public access to your spiritual pregnancy? Why are you letting people name something God hasn't even finished forming? Sometimes you're not being attacked for who you are, but for what you reveal too soon. The enemy doesn't know everything. He only works with what you leak. You posted that new relationship too early. Now it's under surveillance. You talked about your business idea too loudly. Now it's being picked apart. Not everyone who hears your joy rejoices with you. Some listen to steal, some observe to compete, some smile while plotting your downfall. That's why silence is not secrecy, it's security. Your sacred space is where miracles happen. It's the place where God molds your spirit, tests your patience, builds your character. And you can't do that in the spotlight. Some things need darkness to grow. Seeds grow underground, not on the surface. And just like a seed, your purpose requires time away from public view. Stop rushing the unveiling. Stop trying to impress people with your progress. Your sacred moments aren't for show. They're for strength. Ever noticed how some people move in silence and suddenly they're just there? Successful, grounded, elevated. That's wisdom. They understood that early exposure invites early opposition. They chose to protect what God was doing in their life instead of promoting it for attention. You don't have to announce everything. You don't have to explain your every move. Some wins are just between you and the one who gave them. That's where the real power is. When you and God have a secret language, a quiet covenant. You can't expect divine protection over things you treat as common. If you want heaven to guard it, you must learn to honor it. And honor begins in silence. You wouldn't leave your jewelry out on the street and expect it not to be stolen. So why leave your dreams, your relationships, your calling out in the open for anyone to touch? Cover it. Pray over it. Keep it sacred. God moves in mystery and He reveals in perfect timing. Until then, let your life be the evidence, not your announcements. The holiest parts of your journey deserve reverence. They deserve boundaries. You are not being distant. You are being wise. You are not hiding. You are protecting. Because what is sacred is not for everyone. And what is for everyone is rarely sacred. Treat it as holy, and God will build a hedge around it that no gossip, no envy, no betrayal can break through. Let your silence be your sanctuary, and your sacred be your shield. Your growth requires discretion. Not everything that is blossoming in you is meant to be broadcasted. Some things must grow in the dark, in silence, without the noise of opinions, doubts, or outside interference. Just like a seed needs soil, darkness, and stillness to take root, so does your personal evolution. Growth is not always glamorous. It's private, it's messy, it's sacred. And when you expose sacred things to careless hands, you invite unnecessary damage. Imagine planting a rose bush and digging it up every 2 days just to show people how it's coming along. You'd kill it. It wouldn't survive the constant exposure. That's how your dreams, your self-discovery, your healing works too. If you keep pulling it out for validation, likes, applause, or proof, you weaken what God is trying to strengthen inside you. Not because your growth isn't real, but because it hasn't matured enough to withstand outside energy. You don't owe anyone updates on your transformation. Just because you used to be one way and now you're choosing better doesn't mean you need to explain that journey to those who are comfortable with your dysfunction. Some people liked you broken because it made them feel whole. Some people preferred you lost because it kept them in control. But when you start rising, healing, building, you'll notice silence from the same mouths that used to echo your past. That's why discretion becomes your armor. Your growth isn't a performance. It's not for entertainment. It's not a step-by-step process to be narrated to your social feed or dissected in every conversation. Sometimes the wisest thing you can do is move in silence. Let them think you're stagnant. Let them assume you're the same. While they're watching the old version of you, you're outgrowing it behind closed doors. And when you emerge fully formed, they won't recognize you. And that's exactly the point. Every next level of your life will demand a new version of you. And that version is created in solitude. Ask any athlete. Training doesn't happen in the arena. It happens before sunrise, behind gym doors, under pressure, and away from the audience. That's where discipline is forged. That's where greatness is shaped. Your inner work must be shielded from those who don't understand it. Because growth attracts critics just as much as it attracts fans. And the wrong comment at the wrong time can shake your belief. That's why discretion is not distance, it's defense. Have you ever tried to improve your life and suddenly people who never cared before start questioning you? Why are you so quiet these days? You've changed. Yes, you have. And you should. Elevation requires separation. And some people can't handle the silence that your healing demands. But don't let their discomfort pull you back into a version of yourself you're no longer supposed to carry. You don't need to announce your rising. Just rise. You don't need to post that you're winning. Just win. Look at the caterpillar. It goes into a cocoon. Nobody claps for it in there. Nobody sees the struggle, the isolation, the breaking down of who it was. But when it emerges, it doesn't apologize for its wings. That's how you grow. Privately, patiently, powerfully. And when you show up, you don't explain, you just fly. Real transformation doesn't require confirmation. It requires commitment. Quiet commitment. Daily choices that nobody sees. Spiritual stretching that nobody applauds. And when it's time, when the roots have run deep, when the foundation is solid, you won't have to say a word. Your life will speak. Your peace will glow. Your energy will announce what your mouth never needed to say. Growth that is real is felt, not flaunted. And it begins with your decision to protect it like it's gold. Because it is. If you've ever wondered why your peace felt disturbed after opening up, why your joy seemed to shrink after sharing it, or why your dreams began to feel heavier after explaining them, let me remind you, not everyone is worthy of access to your sacred space. There's a reason your heart beats inside your chest and not outside your body. What's meant to give you life must be protected. What fuels your spirit, your calling, your divine assignment was never meant to be exposed to careless hands or casual ears. Silence isn't weakness, it's wisdom. And privacy, that's your power. In a world where oversharing is a culture and validation is a currency, you've got to remember, peace is the new luxury. The loudest voice doesn't always carry the deepest truth. The most visible life isn't always the most victorious one. Sometimes the most powerful people are the quietest in the room, the ones who speak with their energy, not their ego, who show up with presence, not explanation. You don't have to prove your growth. Let the way you walk, speak, and carry yourself be the evidence. Don't let the noise outside you silence the voice within you. Don't let someone who hasn't paid the price question the value of your process. Protect your story like it's sacred scripture, because it is. It's written by the hand of the divine. You're not obligated to make your pain make sense to anyone. You're not required to unwrap your healing like a gift to be evaluated. Sometimes, the miracle isn't in the manifestation, it's in the mystery. The power is in what they don't see. The strength is in what you kept between you and God. There is a divine glow that comes from a person who knows their worth without having to advertise it. There is a calm that surrounds those who no longer seek validation from crowds they've outgrown. You've got to stop shrinking to make insecure people comfortable. Stop explaining your boundaries to people who benefited from your lack of them. Stop apologizing for outgrowing versions of yourself that were only built to survive, when now you were made to thrive. Protect your peace like it's your birthright. Guard your growth like it's royalty, because it is. And remember this, a lion doesn't lose sleep over the opinion of sheep. When you rise in silence, your roar will shake the world without you ever having to lift your voice. When you build in secret, your success will be so loud it can't be ignored. When you walk with God in private, He will crown you in public. People don't need to understand your journey. It wasn't a conference call. It was a whisper between you and the Creator. So let them think what they want. While they're distracted by your past, God is designing your future. While they gossip about what you left behind, you're stepping into what they'll never see coming. You're not here to convince anyone of your purpose. You're here to fulfill it, quietly, boldly, powerfully. So stop opening the door of your heart to every knock. Not every smile is sincere. Not every listener is loyal. Not every friend is forever. Some people come as lessons, others as leeches. Learn the difference and protect your energy accordingly. Be so aligned with your growth that you're okay being misunderstood. Be so in tune with your peace that their noise sounds like silence. Listen to your heart, then noise sounds like silence. Be so rooted in your purpose that you no longer chase validation, because the right people won't need an explanation. They'll recognize your evolution. You are a masterpiece in progress. And masterpieces aren't rushed. They aren't exposed halfway. They are revealed in divine timing, in quiet strength, in sacred power. So stay quiet, stay grounded, stay hungry. Let your silence speak volumes. Let your results make the noise. Let your life be the loudest sermon you ever preach. Because in a world that's constantly talking, the real ones are listening.